and welcome to another episode of the Superstar Guest Spotlight. So we have a special week. Today we had, this week we had two. We're having two, and today's guest is Wendy Walker. So Wendy, welcome. So glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome. Thank you.
So Wendy is a licensed soul therapist. She's passionate about helping women awaken to their authentic selves. And this is what we'll get into. Really, like if you've been confused about that, she will clarify that. Her kind and gentle nature and a desire to see women thrive allow her to facilitate great change in people's worlds. So for more information, you can check out her website, wendyannwalker.com. So Wendy, I know that you have, you're a woman of many talents, and I want you to share about your journey, how you came across your gifts, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. Yeah. So how I came into, I guess, what I'm doing and who I am kind of is I got to a point in my life, about 7 years ago. I was a single mom raising my sister's 3 children. And I was a perfectionism and I was hard on myself. I didn't know what self-love was. I didn't know, it was this mindset of this is how I had to be. This is how I had to show up. And I was very hard, like just, this is kind of black and white. This is how I was and had to be. And I got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. Like inside, I wasn't okay. I was a makeup artist and I looked great. And I did all this outside stuff. So people thought I was okay. And I had it all together, but I really didn't have it together. And so, I got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. My own self, like telling me I had to do all of these crazy things every day just to pretend that I was okay, to pretend to put this front on for other people. I couldn't do it anymore. And so in that, I've always interested in like spirituality and things like that. So one day I remember I was in my bedroom listening to this podcast and it was about parenting. I always wanted to improve myself in any way. And this lady came on and it wasn't even really what she was saying. It was kind of just her energy. I looked in the mirror and I remember I saw tears running down my face and I'm like, why am I crying? Like, what is going on? And it clued me in to realize that whatever she had, I needed. Like, that was it. That was go, Wendy, go. So, I started to follow her and I signed up and I didn't even really know what it was. And I was signing up for soul therapy school. I had no idea what it was. I was like, I just need this. Like, this is it. So, that's how my journey started. Like I just got to the point where I couldn't be in that space anymore. I was dying inside. And so I said yes to myself in a big way. I listened to my intuition that I didn't even know I had the intuition, but it just like I said, it came on so strong that it was like, do this, or like, you're just going to keep going on the same path.
Mm-hmm. That's major. That's a big jump.
Yes, it is. But life-changing, right? Where we can say yes to ourselves that way. And so that my journey began. I went into soul therapy school and I did the work on myself. And then I went the second year, the master's soul therapy. And I went a couple more years of learning different things. And in that, it was my own healing, right? Like I never even was like, I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to do that. No, like not at all. It was like, through my own healing and my own journey, this is where I was like, oh my God, yes, I want to support women in this. I want to teach women this. Yes, like this is what life is about, right? And so that's been my journey. It's just, first it was just to do it for myself. And then in that, I learned what my passion was and all the gifts that I actually had within me that I didn't even know as well, right? So,
So you went into it as like training to become a therapist from the start, but doing it for yourself, knowing that this part was the part that you choosing.
Yeah, like I said, I had no idea what a license. I had no idea. I didn't even read. It was just intuitively. It was like, Wendy, you need this, and I was like, oh, okay. So it was like, right, do or die, right? Like in the inside, right? And that's just where I was. I could not live from the mindset and the place I was in because of how I was treating and holding myself and dishonoring myself and all of that went with that slowly kills us on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was it sounds like a big leap of faith, but for you at that time it was the one choice that you were being called to make at that time? And if you continued, did you think about like if you continued on this path, what it would just keep going in a direction you wouldn't gonna be happy with?
No. Yeah, and then that's why it was like even when it came into like the paying for it and that, I remember the bank thought this was like a loony school, and they're like, "Are you sure? Like as soon as we press this button, like your money's gone, and if you're ripped off, you're ripped off, right?" And so even at that, I had nerves, and I was like, "Okay, Wendy, okay, no, I have to do this. I have to do this for myself." Like, and so it was just following that intuition and that like this yes. So
So you got tests along the path
oh
for
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
like whether this is really right or people mirroring that back to you.
yes, yeah.
Wow,
Just the way the
that's
world does, right? It's our teacher.
yeah,
So
that's really powerful. You literally overnight, right?
yeah.
Stepped into a different world.
Yeah.
So how long did that process take for you to, the healing process and
Oh,
come
it's
in and take
ongoing
it?
still. Do you mean like the schooling itself? Like the
This,
or
yeah, the
my
healing.
it was like I think it was so long ago. Almost a year for the training for the first year, then I stepped in for another year and then I went to another. So I
And
just kept
you,
going.
and
Once I
so
said yes,
again,
I was like yes.
so you went to the highest that you could have gone. You could have furthest that you could have gone.
That it felt right. Yes, right. So I went into the soul therapy, the licensed soul therapy, and then after the year after that was the mastering it, right, going in a little bit deeper, and then it was another generational healing, and that was another almost a year long
Mhm.
program too, and a lot I learned lots of wisdom and everything in that as well. So yeah.
What gifts did you uncover in yourself as you were going along?
Oh, so much. So intuitiveness, like I didn't even think that was a thing. Really, did I have that? Right? Never was. I had so, yeah, and that we all have that within us, right? And so within that, so many things come from that, and uh, it stems from that self love too, that trust. That's even a gift in itself to be able to have that for us because
Mhm.
that is tricky.
Yeah, and you exemplify that, right? When you took that leap,
Yeah,
you have to trust, like exercise that part of you.
yeah.
I guess there are a few gifts coming together in that one time. What else opened up to you?
Oh, life opened up to me. Do you know what I mean? The way I experienced it, the way I showed up, the person I chose to be. I took ownership of my life, and that changes things when we show up and say, okay, so this experience happened. Okay, what's my part in it? Right? There's always two parts, and that changes your whole life. Even looking at the world in a different way, as in, okay, no, Mother Earth is actually our teacher. So in that, every experience that we have is there uniquely designed for us to grow and learn. So looking at it that way, it took that victimhood away. Do you know what I mean? So I was no longer like this small person thinking that life just happened to me and I had the worst luck, and like thinking I'm such a great person, like inside, right? So why does this keep coming? Why does this keep happening? Like, but it was because how I was showing up, the choices, the unconscious things I was living from, how I was treating myself in the inside, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So all
Some
that's
really
so
deep
powerful.
healing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like you had to walk a really intense path after through that time. And so currently, what does your work entail now? Where are you in the offerings that you share with people, and who do you serve to?
Okay. Yeah. So it's oh so I do one-on-one programs, right? Most of the time I work with women, some men, but it has to be the right energy. I need to meet with people and make sure we're a good fit, to make sure we can connect. Because if we can't connect, you're not going to open up, we're not going to go deep and all of that. Lately, I've been guided to do circles, right? Because I've had this weekly soul circle for women for over a year now, and it's been amazing and so soulful. So I've opened up to a soul therapy circle that I welcome women in, and we go in and a couples healing circle. That's another offering I have, and I do some workshops, and it's such a passion to be able to hold space for people and to hold them in such a loving space so that they can see themselves in a different, right, in a different place, and learn and discover themselves and really learn why that's powerful. And so they can start to step into them and start living a life that's in alignment to them, instead of living a
Mhm.
life that's in alignment to how they were taught and shown. And I'll go into that a little bit later. So
Yeah, the patterns that you keep repeating, and then
yeah,
you don't even know why things are happening the way they're happening because you're not conscious
yes.
of 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 what's going on.
And that's what I love to do with people, right? So that's a huge gift that I have, is I like to awaken them to what things unconsciously are you still living from, right? And where does that show up? Or what's happening on your outer world that's reflecting inward that you need to look at or go into or discover or, work with, so you can start living a life that is more aligned to you, more joyful, more loving, and you experience it on all levels of you, and emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and soul level. When you start living that way, it doesn't mean life's going to like have no challenges, not at all, right? They're always going to be there. That's never going to go away until the day we die. But how we can support ourselves through that, how we can show up through that changes, and that's powerful.
Yeah, and what is the end result? Do you feel that people who work with you that they achieve like that feeling, and they what they embody at the end, how they
Okay. It depends how long they work with me for, right? But it's really self-love, more clarity, more connecting who they are, learning, right? How life is more about lessons, and don't take things personally when challenges come up. It's like, no, you don't
that's
have to
big.
stay in that. You can feel it and you can honor that, but you don't have to stay in that muck all the time, right? And that doesn't define you, who you are. And, right, like,
Right.
so much into like, love yourself when you're a mess. It's okay. And it's okay not to be okay, because in society, it's like, no, if you're going to show up, you got to be okay. And you got to, and they have all of these like, what do you call it? Beliefs or things that we feel are put on us. And we kind of hide parts of us and think that
Mm-hmm.
that's how we have to show up, and hide places like that. Because if we show them, that it like
That
devalues us or
side,
something,
yeah.
but it doesn't, right? Like,
And then
but
other people are uncomfortable with it too.
they can, yeah.
So, you know, so people hide parts of themselves to make it feels like to make peace sometimes.
Sometimes there's many different reasons, right? And sometimes we hide pieces of ourselves from the outer world, and then there's even the inner world where we hide stuff and we don't even go, or don't even, right? And so I'm all about like that self-discovery. Learn you, really learn you, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, everything with that, in that, because there's so much power.
And it's a never-ending adventure, right?
Yes.
Can never end. You always, every time you're faced with a challenge, you get to see a different side of yourself.
Yeah. And you're faced with a new way to show up and a new way to be.
Yeah. So let's see. I was just making sure that everything's okay. Yeah. So if you're joining us right now and you have any questions for Wendy, if you have any questions around, like aligning with your authentic self, which she will talk about even more. So obviously you can clearly see how passionate she is about it. But if you have questions about this, you can ask here. We'll see it, and Wendy will answer. And yeah, so let's get back into this topic of awakening to your authentic self and what that really is all about.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So, awakening to your authentic self, what it really, really is to me is awakening to who you are inside, right? And that means to me the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, because we all encompass all of these parts within us. And that's okay, right? So it's that discovering, that's learning, like, okay, so if this challenge is happening and I show up this way and it doesn't feel good, why am I showing up this way? Right? Like, it's awakening to that. It's really learning you, because when we are a child growing up, we're like this sponge, right? And we absorb all this. And so when our parents and family and social media tell us, oh, you have to look like this, or you have to dress like this, or you have to be like this, or no, don't share this, or don't say this, or, all of those things that we just absorb, like, and take on as our own. we can still live from them as an adult, right? And when we do that, we're a lot of the time living out of alignment with who we are. And we're so we're showing up and we're not feeling fulfilled, or we're not doing things that we enjoy, or we're being that doormat, or we're doing all these other things that are taking us down emotionally. And then we're not feeling good. And you get the anxiety, you get the depression, you get all of these things that make life like you don't want to be here. Right.
Mm.
So the power of like awakening to your authentic self is like accepting who you are, accepting the bad, accepting the good. You don't have to like everything about yourself, right? Like we have all parts within us, but it's about, no, okay, that's within me. I can accept it. And if I want to, I can change it. Right.
Yeah.
Um, and it's
Yeah,
really,
'cause yeah,
sorry.
so there's a, like in the spiritual communities, there's a tendency to want to only put forward the positive and the happy shiny side of things, without, like, if it's anything that has a negative, you know charge to it, you're gonna, that's not
Yeah,
good.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, right? Like, yeah, exactly. And that's
Yeah.
not really what it's about. It's not all about the positive. It's not. It is, um, oh, what's the word? It's to think that we have to keep ourselves in that positive state all the time is dishonoring us, right? Because yes, there's positive, and yes, it's energy, and yes, okay, you can be in that energy. But when you cut pieces, or you ignore, or you push away parts with you, you sit in it longer. It comes up even stronger to impact you, to take you down more, right? So it's like learning to honor the parts with you, all the parts within you, and be okay not being okay. And when you're not feeling awesome, okay, I'm just going to love me. I'm just going to accept it. And that's okay. It's okay to not feel okay.
Yeah. And it again, it can be difficult if people around you are mirroring some part of you that is saying that's not okay, right? Like, if they're not pleased with that, or, you know again, there's so many different things around that, but just like, if you have a wounded part of you and you're trying to hide it, and it's not getting a chance to show itself, then, as you said, it could just, get even more wounded
And it
in a
will.
different way.
Life itself, like Mother Earth, is our like teacher, right? So if we're being asked to work on parts of us through the challenges that come up, and we're pushing them away, well, what's going to happen is that energy that we're pushing it away is going to bring it to us even stronger. So we're going to feel it deeper. And in that, we have a choice to stand up and learn and use that experience, or be in it, sit in it, feel it, still push it away because you don't want to feel it, but you have to feel it because it's there. But if you could just honor it and go, okay, this sucks. Oh, this feels heavy, right? Like, I'm not enjoying this, but I'm going to allow it, and I'm going to feel it, and I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to love myself through it. Then you can be in it and go through it to transmute it. So it's no longer heavy. It's no longer there. It's no longer okay in your face. And like Mother Earth is like, hey, you need to look at this. Like, this challenge is coming. No, this didn't work. We're going to bring another one stronger. You're going to learn this, right?
Yeah, and sometimes it could be really, really strong, right?
Yeah.
That it would just, like, knock you over, literally.
And a lot of times, like, if we're not listening to, it'll come in our body in dis-ease somewhere, like, right? And it does that because if we don't listen to things in our mind, it goes deeper. Because if it shows up in your body, you can't ignore it, right? We can ignore
Yeah.
our intuition, we can ignore all that for so long, and then it goes, no, 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 we're going to show you different. You're going to feel it now. So,
That's the last place that you're gonna, that you will find this, and it could be quite, it can take such a toll on you, and have, like, turn people's lives around. Just, yeah, in a different way than, I mean, emotional pain is something too, but physical pain will just put you
if you sit
to,
in too much emotional pain, if you're in it and you don't work with it, and you push it down, it's going to become physical.
right. Yeah, and sometimes, like, with that, like, you can actually not have a physical problem, and then and it's showing up, like something like a heartbreak or something, how, like, brokenheartedness could show up as chest pain and grief. So people can actually physically feel those things. can
Yeah.
be so powerful. Yeah, so this whole self-love concept could be a little tricky to navigate for people, right? Because to accept all parts of themselves can be such a challenge.
It's
So
scary, right? Like it
yeah,
really is, because there's we've been shown, and this is usually generational, right? Like, oh, we don't show that part, we don't share this part. Now in society, I feel, as we're becoming more spiritual, more aware, right? We're more being open up to, okay, yeah, feel it, go with it, right? But years ago, right, it was like, no, you don't share, you push it down, you hide it, you, right, in most cases. And so
yeah,
that makes it harder.
yeah. Conditioning not only from your family but from society.
Yeah.
What's okay, what's not. So do you also work with things like regression or uh, going back into the past with healing blocks and things like that? What sort of tools do you use?
uh, well, in my and soul therapy work, um, I remain open to allow the divine to guide me where I need to go. And that's just how it works. And it always takes me exactly where I need to go. Um, I am a past life regressionist as well. So I can do past life regressions. That's a different offering in itself. Um,
Okay,
but the soul therapy work is mostly working with this life, right? Like, why is it showing up in this life, this experience? What is it teaching you? What's unconscious? What do you need to change? Where do you need to start loving yourself? And all of these other areas. And so when I'm working with someone, I always use questions to support them to try to come to the answer, because I want you to connect with you. I want to build that connection. I want you to go, yeah, right. Like, yes, this is getting easier. And I want to support you to do that. But I have my intuition that I can connect in and feel and get things and share with you as well. Right. But I like to take you there as much as I can before I come in and tell you or show you,
right. Yeah, it's
because
so
that's where
much
the
more.
power is.
Yeah, you're trying to take your power back, right? I mean, you're taking your power back. So that's part of it. You actually going to that point too. What do you find that people have the most challenge with in your work? And
So much. Many things come up, but I think the core is that self-love, right? That self-love piece. And it really stems from, so if you think like, how were you taught to feel about yourself as a child? What did people make you feel about yourself as a child, by things they said to you, things they did to you, tones that they used towards you?
yeah,
Because it is so, so, so very common for men and women to hold that within them as an adult, to still feel the same way that they were made to feel or taught to feel about themselves as a child. So they're still showing up from that and not saying yes to themselves in so many different ways, or putting other people first when, okay, yes, it's great to give, but you have to fill your own cup first so you can give full-heartedly, right?
yeah, and can you imagine patterns like that are so hard to break? Like it takes a lot of consistency and accountability to get
Unless you
to.
have support like a soul therapist. And then it goes like this, right? But when you're doing it on your own, it does, right? Because I work with people on the unconscious. And when we're in our life and we're just going, and it's just unconscious. It's just unconscious. So to have support, to have someone bring it up or to show you or to guide you into that place where you can go, oh wow, yeah, like wow, right? Like, yeah, I just did a workshop Tuesday, and I brought that question up, like, how were you made to feel as a child, and like, how are you now treating yourself as an adult? And then most they're like, oh yeah, like wow, yes, like I'm still treating myself. But the thing is, now as an adult, we have that choice to bring into the awareness every time we belittle ourselves, or anytime the inner bully comes up and all of that, to say, okay, no, I'm going to choose something else. That's not me. This is what I have taken on, but it's not my truth, and it doesn't have to be my truth anymore.
Yeah. So does it process with you, working with people on things like this? Like do they need ongoing support, or it's like like the process again. I guess it depends on different people, right?
It
But
really depends how far they want to go, right? So I when I work one-on-one with people, I have programs, different lengths of programs. So depending how deep, so if you wanted to go really, really deep and like huge life transformation, you would step into my 9-month soul expression program, because that's the longest program I have. It's life transformational. What you learn, right, is so profound, and how you learn to hold yourself and how you learn to look at the world, right? Because it's weekly sessions that we have. To really just support you and to awaken you and to just bring in that self-love and to bring the awareness of what is life teaching you? Why are these experiences coming up? Why is this reoccurring pattern coming into your life? What are you not getting yet, right? Like, what unconscious things, what do you need to shift or change? Or what's out of alignment, right? So
right,
yeah.
right, and then so there are different lengths of support that you offer based
Yes. Yeah.
on how deep someone is wanting to go
Yeah. And what they
in
want to
their
work on.
trust.
Yeah.
Nice. So I know you had the key that you wanted to share in awakening to the authentic
Mhm.
self.
The
So you
one
already,
thing that they must start today.
yeah, yeah, the one key that everybody's waiting for today.
Okay, so like it ties into that waking to your authentic self, right? So that has many steps into it. What, like, really, because we are like, what's all inside of us? So much. I've been on this journey for years, and this is a lifelong journey of me discovering myself, me learning, me growing, me, just learning who I am and what that looks like, and redefining and changing. And so the one thing you need to do is to love yourself. Really just love yourself. Okay, so the one key thing you must start do today, put your hand on your heart. When you feel that life is challenging, you feel that inner bully come up, you just put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath to ground, and you just say, I'm choosing to love myself in this moment. I don't care how I'm feeling. I don't care what experience I'm going through. In this moment, I am just choosing to love me. And so why you must do that and why that's so supportive is because we have this inner bully, right? And this inner bully is intense. And so when challenges come up, our inner bully comes out to play really strong. Tells us, what we're not doing good enough, or what we should have done, or what we could have done, or not feeling worthy enough, and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And what that does to us is puts us in this like vortex of emotions and keeps us in the anxiety, the pain, and so on and so on. And that's not supportive, right? So if you can just confirm to yourself quite regularly, like, I mean, if you need to do it 30 times a day, stop and do it 30 times a day. Support yourself. Just say, I'm choosing to just love me right now, right? Like, just simple, just confirm that, honor who you are, no matter what's going on, because when you can love yourself through the beautiful mess that you need to be at times, you're honoring who you are, you're allowing yourself to be that. So you're allowing everything to come and be with, and then you can get through it a lot easier, versus that inner bully coming up and saying you're not good enough, you didn't do that, and so on and so on and so on, and you stay in those emotions, and that
Yeah,
doesn't support you at all. Because I don't really care what you do, minus, I mean, hurting someone, right? But like, we all show up in ways that we don't like. We all get triggered in places, but that doesn't mean we're not worthy of loving ourselves. That
hmm,
doesn't mean that we're not a good person. That means,
right.
we were triggered and something set us off, and maybe we need work there because there's wounds or something or whatever that is. But
But that's
you're still
hmm,
so worthy of feeling and being loved, right?
right.
And it's great to have other people that love you around you. Yes, 100%. But you need to be your inner cheerleader. You need to
Hmm,
support yourself. Because if you were just waiting for other people to support you and validate you in that way, I mean, they could be having an off day. And I mean, it's like rolling the dice. Am I going to get it today? Am I not? Right? Like, so you're just giving your power away.
yeah, yeah, and I suppose a lot of guilt will come up too, because like around that inner bully team, like if you're not behaving or acting in a way that you find is
That you
that you
perceive or been
consider, yeah,
told, right? That is
yeah,
appropriate,
yeah.
right?
You
Yes.
might feel guilt, or you might feel shame, or you might feel like, or be of
And so where do
if
those emotions come from? That guilt and that shame from that.
right.
They stem back from you as a child, having
Uh-huh.
experienced a similar situation and being made to feel guilty, being made to feel this. So again, how you're treating yourself is that unconscious way of what you've been shown and told.
Yeah.
And so awakening to you, awakening to everything within you is powerful, because what things are holding you back? What things do you need to bring in to serve you? You know, what is there in there for you to discover that you have not yet discovered?
Right. And just being in that space where you can see that, right? So being in that loving space where you can actually embrace all those different parts is such a powerful thing, because from there you're going to be able to have the transformation that you like to change things in your life, if you allow yourself to go there, to stay there. So that's really powerful. It may sound simple, but it's a hard thing to do in a moment, right?
Yes.
When you're caught when you're caught like in all these turbulent emotions, and it's hard to snap out of it for that 1 second or so to do that. But it's a process of I guess training yourself
Yeah. So the
to
one
stay
thing you
there.
need, right? So that one thing I'm sharing is that, so when you feel emotions, when you feel like, even if they're strong emotions, or you feel the inner bully come up and you're like, oh, any kind of thought, negative thought towards you, just in that awareness, use that awareness as your tangible weight. No. And I like the hand on the heart because it connects with your heart space and it connects you to your body, right? So hand on the heart, deep breath. No, I'm just going to choose to love me. I'm just going to choose to love me, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter what I'm going through in this moment. I'm just choosing to love me. And that's so powerful to bring in.
Yeah.
And it opens doors, and it starts to allow you to value you and support you in ways that you haven't before. And it's like my whole journey, like whole life journey, has set me up to, what is self-love? What is that, right? So when I work with people, that's a huge passion. Like, learn to love yourself. What is that? I'll show you. Like, life is still teaching me levels and ways that I can go deeper in loving myself, right? Like, it's a never-ending journey. So what is self-love? Well, it's all that inner work. It's, choosing to love yourself when you're stressed, when your inner bully's high, when you feel that you've got nothing left, when you, right? Those are the times you need to bring in the self-love. The massage and all the external stuff, yes, it's good and it's great, but you need the inner stuff. You need the inner stuff. You need to have your inner cheerleader come on and say, it's okay to not be okay, or you've got this. Even if you feel like you don't even know how, and you're like, I don't even know. It's, no, I've got this. I've got this. I don't need to know how. I've got this. I know I do, right? It's that
Yeah.
inner support, that inner, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that again, because oftentimes when the word self-love comes up, people, or self-care, people they tend to think of doing something for yourself outside, going for like going to a spa or going somewhere outside, right? And you may still be simmering inside with all this internal stuff that that's where like your true self lies, right? And you, in a way, it might be pacifying things, right? And not fully looking at all parts of you.
Or even honoring you in a way, right? Because the outside stuff is good. I don't want to disregard that at
Yeah,
all. It's good and it's supportive and it's amazing. But if you're not doing the inner work, the experiences are just going to keep coming. You're just going to continue this and feel this, because life is going to show you by the lessons, by the experiences. You need to work on this. You need to do this. Like, this is going to show up again, And so it's, yeah.
yeah. So what do you think about like somebody who has reached a point where they're accustomed only more with the external stuff. They're having to take this leap of uh, of faith, like how you did at that point. What would be the one thing that you have to tell them, that person, as they're venturing into this new world.
Just love yourself enough to say yes. Everything that we desire and wish for, we can bring into our world. Be open to experiencing it. Like my teacher that brought me right everything that I needed on my soul level, she was there. All I had to do was say yes, and the universe brought it to me strong enough because I didn't really know what intuition was, and there's always certain things that I always just kind of knew and followed through. And
Mhm.
that was one of them, right? Like it would show up so strong for me, and so just love yourself enough to say yes when something feels right. When a teacher or a class or something comes into your world that you're like, oh my God, yeah, that feels good. Don't shut yourself down. Don't make the excuses. I don't have money. I don't have this. I don't have that.
Mhm.
I was a single caregiver of my sister's 3 children, working full time. I didn't have the money to step into school, right? But I created it. Do you know what I mean? There's a difference. We can
Yeah,
shut ourselves down in so many different levels and say, well, I can't, I can't, I can't. Okay, then you're going to experience the same because you're telling yourself and you're showing up, I can't, I can't, I can't.
yeah, that comes up a lot about investing, investing in your growth, investing in yourself to connect deeper with yourself, right? To reach to that place, something that could help you. Sometimes it's with these things, it's not like as you say, there's no like sure way to know that this will yield results for you after.
You
But
got
you,
to go with
it's
what
like
you feel.
feel.
Like if you feel it, if you're like, oh my God, yes, but then you have your brain coming in, oh, but you can't afford that and you can't do that and you shouldn't do that and all that, right? It's like, you got to follow your heart. You have to follow your heart. Everything is there for you. Things are there. People show up in our lives. Modalities show up to support us.
Yeah,
But we have to say yes. We have to stand up and say yes to ourselves because that's what it is, right?
yeah.
Like money comes and goes. What I learned, what I invested in myself, and that's with me forever. That's lifelong. That's not changing how I show up, how I support myself, how I live my life. No one can ever take that away from me. Money, they can take that away from me, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's so true. The like the change that you can see when you say yes, and all the signs, all the things are around you to support you. It's just a
And
matter
then the
of
ways that show you they don't, like my story when I said I had the bank guy telling me, "You sure this is a legit school?" Like, and I'm like going, "Oh, like I don't really know, right? Like I think so. It feels yes, right?" And it's just how even like I remember that slow mo on the phone, my heart like pounding. I'm like, "Do I do this? Oh my God, that's a lot of money. Do I do that?" Right? And then I was like, "Yes, do it." And you know what? I'm so thankful. I would never go back. Never. I don't want to go back to living the way I did and feeling the way I did. Sure, I get moments of it now. Life is in flows. Yes, we have to experience some of that. But the beauty in that is I'm learning through that even deeper how to support myself. So then I can even deeper teach others how to support themselves through it because
Mhm.
that's what life is. Challenges are going to be there. But learning how to support yourself, learning how to love yourself, learning what that is and how to work with yourself in those challenges. That's what life is about. The challenges
Mhm.
not necessarily don't get easier, but the way you support yourself through them, the way you treat yourself, the way you honor yourself, the way you show up in them, that's when it changes. That's where the beauty is.
Yeah. And so when you look back at all that has happened on your part, do you ever like have to like you wonder, did this really happen because of how things like suddenly transformed for you, that you went into a whole different path. So you were doing makeup, and what else were you doing before?
Well, I did like so before I was a makeup artist, I did aesthetics, but my main job was I was an EA to school at the school board. Right. So I work with special
Okay.
needs kids. But I had the background for makeup and I had the aesthetics. So I knew how to make myself look like amazing. Right. And I was able to put a front on and yeah, nothing, everything's going good with me. Right. But it wasn't. And so what was the question? I kind of went off and I'm like, oh, wait, what was
No, well, I was asking how, when you look back at
that?
that shift, what comes to you about that transformation? Like what, like it's so impacting, so powerful shift in your life. I mean, Yeah, when if you were to
It's
look
been
back.
that self-love piece. I didn't love myself. I had no idea what self-love was. No idea. My inner bully was rampant. Like, so experts say we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. So out of those thoughts, I would say 95% of them are belittling me or telling me I wasn't good enough, or right. And so in my inner world, I was driving myself crazy. I used to think I had to like put full face makeup on 45 minutes every day. And I had to,
Yeah,
like, I woke up at 3:30 in the morning to work out, to do this, to wear stilettos. I have like 67 pairs of stilettos, seriously, because I had to match every outfit and I had to be this way and I had to look this way. And it's been years since I've actually put like full face makeup on, seriously, because I don't need it. Because I felt like I needed it before. And when I felt like I needed it, I had experiences when I went out without makeup of people mirroring that back to me. Do you know what I mean? Like I've had multiple experiences. So then I was like, oh yeah, like I really am ugly. I
yeah,
do have to wear my makeup. I do have to. But then it was
yes,
when I started to love me and show up and go, no, like my makeup doesn't define me. That doesn't. Then I get experiences. Yeah, no, not at all. Like I said, it's been almost 2 years since I've worn like full face. I wear 2 pieces of makeup
yeah.
every day. That's it. So
That's a really great metaphor too. The makeup, like it's like, you know, covering your real self too. Like, in addition to being something that
yeah,
actually happened,
honor.
it's like, yeah, yeah, it's perfect for what you're talking about, the authentic self. So like getting all of that extra stuff that's covering preventing you from seeing you as you.
Yes. And others, right? Because like, don't see the bad parts of me. No, no, I don't have them, right? Like, I didn't own them in myself. I didn't want other people to see them,
Right.
right? And so if we
And
can't accept that,
it's not just physical, it's just
yeah, it's not
every.
physical, it's emotional. It goes into like, you know, when we're in the worst part and we're just, we've all had moments of not being okay, being triggered and like yelling, or like, I've been a parent since age 24. I've been a parent for so many years. And I've had those moments where I was
Yeah,
not a good parent. Do you know what I mean? I was triggered and I
yeah.
was yelling and but I didn't feel good
And it
inside
doesn't look
either at
good.
it, right?
Yeah.
But it was my own craziness and my own thoughts that allowed me to go that deep and be triggered and not be able to show up for me or the kids I was raising at that time.
Right. But see, you had to come to that place where, you know, forgiveness and loving yourself enough to make that change for you and everybody else around too.
Yes.
Because everything changes when you do that.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So you said you also do like work with couples, so it's like helping that like relationship.
Well, so this is okay. This is a new offering that got guided to me, the new moon we just had.
Okay.
Um, so I got lots of downloads of like, hey, do this, do this, do this. And I'm like, oh, so one of my new offerings is a couples healing circle, right? So yes, and the intention of that was to, because the circles are so powerful, to be able to hold a space, right? A
Mm,
beautiful sacred space where couples could come in and they could go into these inner discovery questions to learn themselves. But in that energy, their partner is going to learn themselves through that question too. And they're going to learn each other and they're going to learn with everybody else. So basically, they're taking time and space to be able to go into a beautiful nurturing place to learn them, learn themselves, learn each other, grow, awaken, and then to be able to go home and open doors and connect. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that about you. And I didn't know that about you. And da, da, da. Do you know what I mean? All of that can come with the healing of that.
right.
Because quite often couples, it's like, okay, turn on TV. What do you want to do? Okay.
Yeah.
But that's not connecting. That's not healing, right? We can drift apart. Life is busy. If you've got kids as well, like life gets busy. And so if you're not connecting and you're not sharing and you're not growing together, you can grow apart. So
Yeah, without meaning too, just like how life goes, right? How people want to unwind, and then time goes, and you grow distant,
yeah.
and then because you're not growing together, you start to not see things, you know, like in that way that's loving and
And then emotions get triggered. You feel more resentment. You feel anger. You feel right. So then you're triggered in that relationship. And then there's like more fighting and things that go on.
yeah.
And
Yeah, that's really powerful with to be doing it, especially now when it's, everybody's so busy and not having time to do things like that, right? You
Yeah.
actually need to carve out time to have those things where maybe in some time in the past it may have been, it may have not been so busy and things were, less chaotic and crazy. So, but now the way things are, it demands you even more to be true to you, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, quickly you can get off center and forget.
Well, so many
And
people are, right? And that's why you
mhm,
get the anxiety and the overwhelm and everything. And so many people now are experiencing that. And yeah,
yeah,
it's okay to feel it. But if you're experiencing it like a large part of your life, right? How is life really for you? Not
mhm,
awesome to have to be in that space and feel it like it.
yeah. So there's something, like those signs are something that you should pay attention to when you're experiencing like despair, depression, anxiety, as some, to know that there's something up inside that you're not paying attention to,
Well,
that you
even
need to.
any emotions, right? So if you're sad or angry or whatever comes up, there's a reason for that. It's teaching you, it's showing you something. Where's that emotion coming from? Why is it coming up?
Right.
Right? It doesn't even have to go into the depths of the deep, deep depression, anxiety, like the intensity of that. It could just be in a regular like day where you're just, all of a sudden triggered for something. Why are you
Yeah.
triggered there? Why did that show up? Where does it come from?
Yeah.
What's unhealed within you yet, right? Like when things happen to us as a child, we can hold on to traumatic experiences. And then we can get triggered as an adult and go back into that like child space and show up as that child, which isn't authentic, right? We have like this adult tantrum, but it's a child tantrum, but it's an adult tantrum because now we're an adult, right?
Yeah. And it's sometimes hard for people to to see which is what's going on, right? Which part of
Yes, it
you?
can be, right?
Yeah.
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 So
So
it's really learning and discovering yourself, right? And that's what I'm so passionate about. Yes.
yeah, I'm sure you go into so many different directions in your work and sharing with people too. You have a Facebook page, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And you'll share that with us at the end. So at this time, you can share with us an offer that you have that you like to give to people listening who'll be listening after, who'll be benefiting from all this fun, exciting, enlightening conversation we're having. Even if it's going into dark areas, it is exciting because we're awakening to the authentic self, right? What else could be?
Which has all parts. And that's why I say the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, right? Because all of it wrapped together is beautiful. And
Yeah.
anybody, whoever they are, authentically is beautiful. We just have all these layers and conditions and stuff that dull that part down or hide it or bury it, right?
Um,
Yeah. Okay. So my
yeah.
offer, sorry, do you want me to go into that right now?
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so my offer is I have a 3 hour, it's called Awakening to Your Authentic Self workshop. And so I usually offer it at $40 for that, but I want to gift it to you for free. So if you're interested, right? If you're like, yeah, okay, I want to learn more. I want to discover me. I want to get more clarity. I want to learn, more about me and all of that, and all that encompasses. Then if you can go onto my website, it's Wendy at www.wendyannwalker.com, and go to the contact and just message me and say, yes, I watched this interview here and I want this. I want to join. So then when I get people that are interested, I will set a date. I can message you and you can join and experience this work and experience what it is. And yeah, it's
So
beautiful and powerful and
it's a
loving. And
it's a workshop that's coming up, or it's
so I don't have, like, I will create a date for it. Do you know what I mean? Like I
okay.
don't have one online. A lot of them I've been doing in person because, but if I've done them online before and I'm fully open to doing them online. So
Hmm.
if this interests you and you want to, I will create a workshop for you guys and we will do this and I will take you there and I
Oh,
will show you.
wow.
We go into 5 different questions. I work with you on the emotional body, the soul body, the physical, the mental. The questions take you into these spaces, into these areas within you to gain so much. It's so beautiful. So
Oh, that's really kind of you. So, like 3 hours worth of of diving into your authentic self. I
Mm-hmm.
hope I hope people do take you up on this, and you get you get a nice group joining. So I'll definitely highlight that,
Okay.
and we'll see at the end, for people to join, to contact you and let you
Yes.
know that you're interested in this. Oh, that's really really powerful. I'm really grateful for you to come on today and share your passion with us,
Thank you.
to share your gifts, to share the transformations that are possible, the hope for people who may be looking on and they're facing some not so pretty times, and wondering what to do, how to get out of this, and not seeing a path. So
Yeah.
you c- you go in, you like share some more on your own Facebook page, around, like, do videos around this too, right?
Yeah, I do post some videos around stuff and all different things whenever I feel guided to show up and share. So yeah.
Right. And so what is your website is
Yeah.
wendyanwalker.com, and your Facebook page is
Uh, that's I'm on it all the time. That's hilarious. I believe it's just awakening to your authentic self. I believe. Let me check. It's so funny. I'm being authentic right now. Hey.
probably is.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Just Wendy Ann Walker, awakening to your authentic self.
Okay. And let me just check on this page, see if any questions. But what is one thing that you would like people to know in general, besides all of what you've talked about before, around self-love and forgiveness? If there's one thing you'd like to leave people with today, to remember.
The hugest, and we talked about this, but it is so huge. It's okay to not be okay. Really, it really is okay not to be okay, because when we don't feel okay, to the point of how we belittle ourselves, to how we dishonor the being that we are, how that impacts us, how that takes our life away, how that, like the gift of life, right? How it takes the experience of the beauty that everything there is in life to offer, how it just removes it because we don't feel good enough and we don't feel this and all the other things that come up. It's just like, just know, right, that it's okay to not be okay, because so many times and I know we've talked about that, but it's just that huge, right? And I just want to share that because in my journey, that's what I've learned. Because now, before I was like, no, you have to be okay. You just and if you're not, you don't show it. You hide it and you don't talk about it, and right. But really just love yourself. Love yourself if you're in this beautiful mess. Love yourself if you're not okay. And in doing that, you're supporting yourself to go to the other side easier. You're supporting yourself to know that, you know what, you can get through anything. And it's you're honoring the being that you are, because we are infinite beings. This is just like our vessel that we're here on this planet right now, but we've got lifetimes and lifetimes. And who we are is really, really, really amazing. Each and
Yeah,
every one of us, no matter what we think, right? Like it's so really just to know that, to integrate that, to just go, okay, I may not be feeling awesome right now, but that's okay. That's okay to be feeling what I am feeling. Because a
yeah,
lot of the time it's that, like, we want to hide, we want to know, we're like, no, I don't want to feel you. No, I don't want to go there. No, no. That doesn't serve us. That doesn't serve us. The judgment comes in, the inner bully comes in, and it keeps us in that Aki energy a lot longer and keeps us in the pain and suffering of life, which really, again, like I said, takes that gift of life, what it really, really is. It just takes it away.
yeah. That's really really important. Again, it's a reflection of the self love too, and but just the fact that that no matter what happens or what you do or how things are, that it's all right, that, you don't have to beat yourself up, or like
Nobody
all of
has it
this stuff.
together, right? Like, on Facebook and you see all these great
Yeah.
shots and everything, and we only post like what we want people to see in that. But
Yeah.
nobody has it all together. And that's okay. Right? Like, because we live from this like think this belief that we have to have it together, or we have to be this way or this way. No, right? Just love yourself where you're at, wherever you're at, and it's okay to be exactly where you're at.
Yeah.
And
And
so, yeah,
then
like really just I offer like all you guys to just stop, ground in when you're in awareness, when you feel uncomfortable, when you feel any emotion that doesn't feel good, just use that as a wait, yeah, no, I heard this. I'm going to try this. Hand on the heart, deep breath. In this moment, I'm just choosing to love me. Even if it's just for a second, the more seconds of that you can bring into your world, the more self-love you can bring in, and the more beauty that will bring in.
right. And it gets easier the more you do it
It
to.
does, right? Because it's like that scenario of a bodybuilder. A bodybuilder doesn't just look amazing, it takes work. And then the body has memory of it and it can keep it easier. Well, that's just like us, right? It takes work. The more effort you put into it, the more it's just going to become natural, because you need to shift and you need to work with those beliefs and mindsets that aren't authentic to you, that are not in alignment with who you truly are. Once you become awakened to them, right?
Yeah, which means that it might be a little uncomfortable in the beginning,
Usually
as
is.
you
Yeah.
as you
Yeah.
as,
But the
yeah.
most uncomfortable moments in our life, the most painful moments, experiences we go through, are our most transformative.
To
And in
stay with
that,
it.
we can choose to take the trauma and the little bit of transformation. But if we love ourselves through it, then, right? Like, so by loving yourselves through the yuck, um, you're choosing to take the experience and leave the trauma behind more of,
Mm,
because you're just loving you and you're not taking that I wasn't good enough, or I didn't do this, or I should, all that other anger and stuff that you just keep inside of you, and belief and like the belittlement of who you are.
yeah. This is such powerful stuff, right? And it's life changing for for so many people. There's so many unique situations that this can apply to. It's not just, like when you choose to change a career, or when you choose to change. It's when you choose to make a change in some way, right? Depending on where you are. It's really powerful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you feel that, or do you tend to meet people at that stage of their longing for a transformation, a big.
Well, I meet people with where they're at, right? And so where they're at, they jump into the program to what's in alignment to where they are. And I can work with them exactly where they are and take them to where they need to be. Because when I'm working with them, like I said, it's divine. Like my thoughts, my whatever's going on in my life, I say it's over here. It's not in it. And so if I can hold space and love for you and just see all your beauty and hold that space and love and allow divine to come in, I can see you. I can see your truth. I can allow you to really hear you, to really see you, to really feel you in a way that you've never felt or been in before.
Mhm. That's really powerful to have a space for that, right?
Yeah.
Just to have the energy when you're not in that space, and someone can hold that for you while you get into that energy.
It allows you to be able to hear you more, right? So, when you're in a conversation, most of the time, um, you have like thoughts going on in your mind. You're in a conversation and you're listening, but you still have things going on in your mind, right?
Yeah.
And so that takes you out of it. And so the beauty of holding space is when you take your stuff and put it over here and it's not even in
Mm,
it. And there's nothing there but just presence and listening. And so
right.
that opens up the field of, if I'm listening to you that deeply, there's no like interference. You're hearing yourself at a level that you've never heard yourself before.
Yeah.
You're opening yourself up. You're connecting into places with you, right? And it's so
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Uncomfortable
that
at times, yes, but so beautiful.
is. When you're working with a higher source and free flow to that where it's needed,
Yeah.
That's really I love all the nuggets that you've shared, and so many different things we touched on today.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we're gonna wrap up now. So it's just about 1 hour since we're chatting,
That went so
and
quick. It really
yeah.
did. Wow.
I know you can talk a lot on this topic, so I invite people to check out your Facebook page and your website wherever you're at to receive more inspiration to awaken to your authentic self. There's so much to explore in that area. So if you resonate with Wendy's presence and energy and all that she's been sharing, her passion, check her out. And also remember to message her, to contact her on her website for the 3 hour free
Awakening to your authentic
yeah,
self. Yes. Workshop.
workshop.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
so generous. And thank you so much, Wendy.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been amazing. And yeah, just love yourself, guys. Oh, you're so worthy of it.
That's the last message.
Um,
No other way to say that. All right, so with that, we're gonna say bye from me and Wendy, and thank you again. And have a great evening, everyone. And I'll see you next time again for another Superstar Guest Spotlight.